Okay. Welcome to ComfyUI. Oh, wow, there's light effect over here. Holy shit. Now I'm even more nervous. Yeah, guys, welcome to the very first San Francisco ComfyUI meetup. Yeah, appreciate it. We were expecting about 20 people, but today it seems like, at least on the Luma event, there are more than 200 registered. So thank you, everyone, for coming. First, I would like to give a huge shout out to Charlene on our team, who's handled the entire event along with Jojo. Thank you so much. We were not expecting any of the name tag and shirt, but yeah, thank you. And then the other is really want to give a shout out to our sponsor for today, AMD. They are helping with the catering for our drinks. So if you get hungover tomorrow, blame AMD. Thank you. Anyone from AMD over here? Okay. I was going to say, if you guys don't have enough drinks, just go hit them up for more drinks afterwards. So first, for today, I would like to give a quick intro on the entire team. Despite having a huge amount of popularity, the team is fairly small overall. We have folks all over the world, but we're based in San Francisco. Blake is currently calling in from Australia, and we have Comfy Anonymous right here. I'll pass it on to him right after. Charlene for helping out with the hosting and a lot of logistics side of things. Christian, who just flew in yesterday, right over there. And HCL, who's the main author of the front-end project. Jojo, who unfortunately also can't join us, is calling in from China right now. And Robin, is Robin here? Robin right there. And me. Please come to talk to us after the event. We'd love to get your feedback, get your review, and jam with you about Comfy. So given this is January, would like to give you a quick summary of the past year. Definitely a lot has happened in 2024 for Comfy. On the right side of the photo over here was when the team took a photo on top of Mount Fuji, and we were writing code for Comfy. You can actually see it in the Git history. Yeah, quite a lot has been done for the Comfy project during the past year. We had a new desktop, a brand new front end, the registry, which is all of the custom nodes being registered on, and a whole bunch of other additional projects. On the model side, there's quite a few support of all of the models coming in natively into Comfy, even for the ones that are not. We have an extensive custom node ecosystem. Speaking of which, actually during the past year, the total amount of custom nodes 3x'd. Now we have more than 10,000 total nodes out there. Of course, given today is a GitHub event, and also thank you, GitHub, for providing the venue. One very important metric for the past year is also the Comfy project GitHub star has tripled. It is currently the top 150 all-time high popular GitHub repo. Despite all of these, I would say we still maintained a very strong metric in terms of revenue. We did not change our revenue, which is currently 0. I picked pound as the unit because it's more expensive. And yeah, that's pretty much for the past year. And now I'm going to pass on the mic on to the legendary Comfy Anonymous to give us a preview about 2025.
Okay, so yeah, there's a lot of things that I think are a lot of great things I think that are going to happen in 2025 because we've seen an explosion of open models, and especially like there's a new great open model coming out multiple times a month, so it's been very interesting. Because when I first joined the Comfy org end of June, we weren't sure, like, okay, like what's gonna happen with open models? Are we gonna have to like make our own? But fortunately, well, we're way too busy implementing all the new models that come out. So that's so that's been pretty great. So. The goal of ComfyUI since the beginning has always to be give more power to users. Like it was never meant to be the easy-to-use interface. It was always meant to be the interface for power users. But that might change a bit because now with all the great work that everyone has been doing on the front end, it might. The goal for 2025 is that it also becomes the easiest to use interface, but we also want to add even more advanced capabilities to ComfyUI. For example, one thing we're looking at is training support, which is something we feel is missing in current ComfyUI. So we are planning on adding training functionality within the regular workflow, so you'll be able to make workflows for training models. And it will work as well as inferencing. So yeah, our goal is essentially to be the best inference and training tool for diffusion models, image model, video models, which are becoming better and better and more efficient. And yeah, if you're interested in joining us, well, we are hiring. So if being at the edge of like all the new models, and if you think that's exciting, like being always the edge of the new developments, then yeah, there's gonna be a lot of interesting things, and maybe even things that we can't predict that are gonna come out in 2025, and I hope it's gonna be a very interesting year. Thank you. And now I'll pass the microphone to Mr. MGM, who will be giving a presentation.
All right, thank you very much. Just before getting started, quick reminder, today's session is recorded, so please do not say anything illegal. This is our agenda for today's presentation. And during the lightning round, if we have an order of people presenting, so please scan this QR code if you want to check when is your order, and we'll call you up before your session start. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. I feel like Yolande said to say nothing illegal for me, maybe. I'm going to behave. All right. Okay, let's see. Okay, cool. We're good. All right. Hi, everyone. So I was invited to talk to you guys tonight, and every time I talk, during a Comfy event, I get excited because it's giving myself a challenge to create a new workflow. I really always want to push myself and push the tool to create something new. And today I'm going to present you what I call the flow injection with ComfyUI. My name is Julian Durand, and I go by MidJourneyman or MJM. And you can find me everywhere on midjman.com, my website. I was in Japan not too long ago, and I used exactly this slide, so I'm sorry I'm going to reuse this one. I am still not affiliated with Midjourney. I know the name is confusing, but this is a long story I won't tell you tonight. Come see me after, and I can tell you why I picked this name if you want. My very first animation video was made in Disco Diffusion. It was horrible, but I love it. That was a long time ago now. And after that, I moved on to Warp Fusion. I had a great time with that too. And finally, right after that, I moved on to start using Animate Diff in ComfyUI. And yeah, it's been great. I've been in the field for quite some time. So here is the idea tonight. So on the very left, you can see that this animation is using QR code monster, so QR code monster. And in the middle, it's using image noise injection. And I've been meaning to, because I've been creating these animations for a while now on the left. And then I started to make this style here, which is very unique. And I've been thinking, what if I combine these two methods together to see what happens? And it's creating that. And that's what I'm going to show you tonight. So this is the original workflow, which I call the flowy workflow. This was first inspired by Pers. Shout out to Pers. I'm sure you guys know what that is. He's awesome. Great friend of mine. Yes, he is clapping. And IPs. And so they were kind of like the first guys that I've seen using this style of morphing. And I took it and made some modifications. And in this case, what I'm going to show on these slides is what's the input, what's the mask, and what's the output. So these 4 images, that mask, and then I got this output. So that, again, is using ControlNet QR code. And now, what is image injection? So these are the nodes in part of the animate diff evolved node package. The idea is you can inject, like during the sampling phase, like some noise, like from an image, or as you can see, images, meaning from a video. So you can really combine like 2 styles, 2 different type of images within one generation, which is really cool. And it's especially interesting to do this when you use mask, so that you can just diffuse in some area of the mask, which is great. So it's giving you a lot of control, and you can really create some cool stuff. So, oops, let me go back. Here we go. So these are some examples. So you can see on the left, you have a mask sweeping from left to right, closing on the middle. Here in the middle, here is with some colors, and on the right, it's a little crazy. And that's what I'm going to show you how to create tonight. Sorry, this is just injection, but I'm going to use this technique mixed with the other one and to create the end result. What's cool and what makes this quite fun for me is, again, thanks to Pers, I've been learning to make, using shaders and Blender, some masks. So I can basically take my creative inspirations, even in that process, to make like very specific and unique masks to highlight some movements and some specific, like styles. And that's been really, really fun. So I feel like in control, essentially. I can really control the output. This is the workflow. And that's why I love Comfy, because it looks crazy and I love it, I forgot to say I'm an engineer too, a mechanical engineer by trade, so this kind of stuff is tickling my fancy. So let's get in a little more detail. So I know it's going to be small, but it's okay. I will, and again, I can give you more details later. I guess I'm going to have to look here because even I can barely see. But on the left-hand side, I'm just loading like the models, like what's the negative conditioning is going to be. The images I want to just use to morph. I can do more than 4, by the way, but I just kept it simple here, and I just load 4 images. So I can go as far as I want. And on the right-hand side, I'm doing some preparation on the top here. I'm preparing the image, and the node in blue here, which is image batch multi, lets me basically sequence the images, and I can see how they're going to be sequenced, part of the control nets when they go through that. And right here at the bottom, on the gold section, I'm loading the mask for the QR monster. And on the right-hand side, it's going through the weights in IP adapter side, and that is ready to go. And next, this is where the injection is going to take place. On the top left, I can either load a video, or it's my choice. On the bottom, as you can see, it says load image. I can instead load one single image if I want to. Then it goes through the regular diff process, but I inject these noise or these images within. And in the middle, at the bottom, that's the mask that I'm using to inject. So it's only going to inject in the black or the white, depending on if I'm inversing the mask or not. And simple as that. After that, it finally goes through the K-sampler. Shout out to Phil, Machine Illusions, who made these awesome K-sampler nodes. And I'm doing 2 passes, and then I'm combining. And that's basically it, for the results. So let's have some fun and see what it looks like with different type of images and videos. I found this one very cool. I had the idea of what if I'm using different masks, one type of mask for the flow and a separate mask for, like the injection, but with a simple gradient color texture, essentially. Like I really wanted to keep something simple, and you can see I'm getting some very interesting and intricate, it looks like a veil, and you see you get this eye popping out. It's very textured. It looks like it's very interesting. So I really enjoyed that one. And so that was just a simple color. And it's a perfect loop too, by the way. I forgot to specify. That's why I don't have to worry about being quick, I can just let it play. And next example, instead of doing a solid color, I wanted to try a regular image instead. So same exact concept, same images, same mask, but instead I'm using a more colorful color, and you see it's more of a funky, kind of very poppy and very bright animation. I know this stuff is very artistic, but I like that stuff too. If you look at what I usually do on Instagram lately, it's not like this, but this is what interests me a lot. I love making this kind of artistic and wild animations. So that's with a single image. The next one, that's why I said images, is what happens if you inject multiple images from a video. And that's what it does. And as you can see, it's kind of like keeping the model, and you can see how, the person sending is actually appearing and then disappearing depending on where the mask is at. It's pretty cool, how it's combining these two styles and these two methods into one. AnimateDiff is incredible for that. And finally, this one is I did a stream with Pers actually a couple of weeks ago, and you might have seen this because that's what I practiced with him on the stream. And we had the idea during his stream to just use the same mask, but one being reversed from the other. And that's giving a very interesting stuff too, because it's really they're working together essentially, and then that's what you get. It may be my favorite, honestly, this kind of style right there. And I think that's basically it. Any questions? Thank you, guys. I do. It's going to be on Civit, on Civitae, yeah. You should find pretty much. I go by midjourney.man everywhere. If you go on the website, you should find it, or you can come see me after. I don't have many workflows, but I have some, and yeah, it's on Civit or on Banadoko as well. Shout out to Banadoko and Pam, by the way. More questions? Okay. Thank you all again. I'm Julian. Come see me after. And I'd like to introduce someone special who has joined us tonight. A couple months ago, I was invited by him for a viewing in LA, Paul Trio. And I was lucky enough to actually see a preview of what he's going to show us tonight. And I was like, damn, this is awesome. And we're lucky we're going to see the final result tonight. So Paul, thank you.
All right, thank you, Julian. Yeah, Julian's been such a great cheerleader and hacker of the technology in creative ways, so that was cool to get a little peek behind the curtain. This is a little bit impromptu, so bear with me as I kind of improv through this all, like that. I just came from Sundance, where I worked on a project and spoke on some panels, and then was here for this Adobe AI Summit, which just ended, which was very exciting, and they are definitely paying attention to this community, which is cool. And I just want to say this is such a cool community and such an exciting place to be, so thank you for having me so last minute as well, and making the time. Let's see. We haven't even tech tested this yet, so let's even see if we can get, oh, there it is. So yeah, I guess a little bit background on me. I'm a filmmaker, traditionally more like live action, but in high school and throughout college, taught myself animation, motion graphics, After Effects, and started to incorporate learning post-production techniques and how do I use those in with production. And so I think from early on, I'd always found ways to combine technology with kind of traditional practices and practical effects. And so getting into AI was not really, I don't know, I didn't even second guess it. It was just kind of a natural progression of a lot of the work I've done. And so I still want to find ways where we can do things traditionally and bridge the gap into this kind of new future. And I believe what is exciting about technology for me is that with every new technology is a new technique. So technology opens up creative techniques that were not available before. So I try to find how these new techniques can kind of be accessed, how to hack the tools to kind of create new kinds of visuals that either are easier to do or not possible to do before. I won't show some old work, but I will show some newer work that is, both of these projects heavily relied on ComfyUI and also rely on traditional production. So this first project is called Etheria. It was made with primarily the help of someone by the name of Make It Rad, who is Brad Tucker. I'll just dox him real quick because Brad is a great guy and he deserves the credit to his real name, as well as someone named Visual Frisian, who maybe people know, and Do Re Mi, and Saint Laurent Jr. They were all kind of the ones that really were the ones that hacked how to do this project. And what was exciting about this film, maybe I'll just start playing it. I don't know if we're gonna have audio or not. What was exciting about this was I worked with my friend Hawk, who's a director and choreographer, and he wanted to just collaborate on something. We didn't know what we were gonna do, and we were sitting at a cafe, and I just kind of like looked up to the clouds, and I was like, well, I love to do stuff with clouds. Why don't we do a sort of dance piece with clouds? And I think AI is uniquely like great at doing clouds because they're amorphous. They can kind of look like anything, and it's much more forgiving for that reason. But there's also something kind of beautiful about the parallel between diffusion models and the latent space, and how images are defined in the latent space, and our experience at looking up at the clouds and a sort of optical illusion called pareidolia, where we see deer, or we see dogs, or we see human faces and shapes inside of clouds. It's called pareidolia. It's a sort of a hallucination, a natural hallucination. And that's sort of what AI is doing when it's looking at noise patterns, is it's looking for some sort of identifiable pattern within the noise, and then it slowly over time defines that. So I thought like that sort of conceptual connection between how we look at clouds and envision things and how diffusion models kind of navigate the latent space was kind of interesting. But what was cool about this was the team aspect of it. Was not that, I mean, it's exciting that people can do things on their own and they can do things as a one-man band, but I come from production, I come from guiding teams, and trying to get consistent looks across like shot to shot, right? So a lot of the stuff we see in ComfyUI, it's like sort of just like a one-shot Twitter or TikTok post, 15 seconds long and it's over. I wanted to see, can we make like a real project with this that cuts from shot to shot, and there's fluidity to it, and there's consistency across 4 different artists that are working. So using a custom LoRa plus IP adapters designed for each shot, Let's see. Yeah. Unfortunately, there's not audio coming out of this, but and the audio was composed by a friend, John Ong, which was done manually and took just as much time as the Comfy work did, which was about 2.5 months. So we shot like 2 or 3 days on this thing, and then sat on the footage for a couple months, then worked with the team for about 2.5 months to do all the animation, which I'll show a little behind the scenes on here in a second, and then 2.5 months for the score as well. So it's just, I guess I'm out here trying to show that AI is not just one thing, that there is a world where traditional artists can adopt this stuff in their workflow and do very ambitious projects on their own with little time. Yep. Oh, yeah. Oh. Thank you. Are we trying to get rid of that thing?
Are you mirrored?
I might not be mirrored. I don't know.
Oh, you're not supposed to be mirrored. Fun.
Oh, whoops. Yeah. Sorry, there was no rehearsal
I
here.
don't know if I can fix this.
I don't mind. Is it better?
Oh, it just shows like the GitHub logo.
Oh,
Oh, but
okay.
I think it's just that here.
I think that was baked in. I don't know.
Oh, okay,
That was
okay.
yeah.
Okay, no worries.
All right.
Are you on presentation? Okay, it's fine.
We don't mind the GitHub logo, right? I think it's nice. So yeah, here's a little kind of split screen of that effect. So originally shot on Sony Venice, then we were in the edit. We didn't have all the shots we needed, so we did pickup shots on iPhone. There's our Comfy workflow created by Brad, the genius. And use multiple models, including depth anything and hacking depth anything in a very custom way. Because I think what was important about this was that the clouds felt volumetric and not just like a sort of cutout. Like it didn't feel just like a silhouette, like shadow puppets of people. That we could actually feel the arms in front of another arm, a body in front of another body, and giving the actual sensation of looking at clouds. And so the depth pass on this, along with some other control net passes, was really the key to defining the look. But the other aspect of this in defining the look is designing the camera moves and designing the compositions, where the clouds are and everything, so that I was still using After Effects and Premiere to get to guide the results as much as I wanted. Something that came out of the Adobe Summit, everyone kept harping on, was control. Everyone wants control with AI. I do believe, actually, ComfyUI and the open source tools are the best path towards control, and there's a lot of control we implemented on this project and the next project I'm about to show. So everyone kind of wants to complain about control with the black box models, but in a lot of ways, control is here with Comfy, and so that's why I'm so excited about it. So this is a project. Are we doing a panel now, or what's next? How do I tee up what's next?
Oh, Lovis is gonna do
Oh, great, perfect. All right, sounds good. Thank you, everyone.
Hello everyone, like here for the panel, if you want to come on the stage, everyone. Oh. Yeah, you can sit where you want. Oh. You have next one. Oh, okay, you all ready? Oh yeah. Hello everyone. I'm really happy to be here as well. Like all these creator and user of ComfyUI, it's amazing to have this event. I don't know why they choose me, to manage the panel with my strong French accent. I hope it will be okay for you to understand. Yeah, we're good. So yeah, my name is Lovis Odin. I'm also a user of ComfyUI, but also like creating workflow for company right now, like mostly automation. I love to manage like to mix 3D and also like all the kind of generation, so combining LLM and generation. And so the goal today will be to speak a bit about ComfyUI, but first I want to present that you can present each other. So like I will start with Claire. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Thank you so much for having me.
And so, what is your
my name is Claire Xue. I am currently a marketing director for a AI film competition called Project Odyssey, and I'm also an AI creative educator. So I've trained creative teams from Sephora, Hennessy, and a lot of studios around the world. I'm really happy and excited to be here.
Super nice. And so, Julien, you're here already. You present yourself. Yeah.
Yeah, in case you already forgot, yeah, I'm Julian. Yeah.
And Paul, like he just present himself, so maybe.
Yeah, you know who I am. Yeah.
Nice. And Robin, yes.
Hi everybody, I'm Robin, member of ComfyOrg. Recently, I've been working a lot on the registry and the desktop app. Really excited to be here and to meet everybody.
Super nice. And to end, like Shirley, also from the ComfyUI team.
Hi, I'm Chen Lei. I'm an engineer at ComfyOrg, and I mostly work on the front end and desktop projects.
Super nice. So yeah, I want to start like something very interesting. I met some of the creators here like 1 year ago when we were in LA, in Los Angeles. It was the first time we met together for the AI event, about ComfyUI. And when I met everyone, it was so crazy to see that everybody used in a different way ComfyUI, or for different kind of project. It was not only for movie, not only for, it can be for anything, and that's why I was finding it so interesting. And even some people that were using every day, we all learned from each other. So that was kind of crazy. And so my first question is more like, how did you discover ComfyUI? Like, what was your first time that you used ComfyUI, and maybe why? So maybe it's more like related to artist question now. So like, maybe I can start with you, Julien. What was the first time that you used ComfyUI?
Frankly, the very, very first time I've ever used ComfyUI was when Binks and Machine Delusions gave me an SDXL workflow to create images. And I was looking at this, I was like, this is crazy, I love it, and I need to dig in. And it was to create images. That was the very, very first time I've ever used Comfy.
Super interesting, super interesting. And if you have other, like maybe Paul, what was the first time when you discovered Comfy?
Yeah, so I got into, I was in the Stable Diffusion Discord before it was kind of open source. But I really believed in open source, and so then when that did go open source, I jumped into Automatic 1111 and did a lot of work in Automatic 1111, and then I noticed like the Reddit channel or something, it started to simmer down, and then I started hearing about ComfyUI, and it was around the same time control nets were getting good and better, and it just seemed like a better place to use control nets, but I didn't really have any major breakthroughs, I think, until like it was steerable motion, where I was able to do first frame, last frame, before any of the other video models were able to do first frame, last frame, and I was like, okay, this is the future. I also learned Max MSP. It's another node-based coding system. I learned that in college and did like art installation projects with it, and so there was a familiarity with the node-based stuff that I thought was exciting.
No, super interesting. And you, Claire, maybe?
Yeah, I first discovered Comfy maybe 2023, and then this right after Automatic 1111, and then just got served by YouTube algorithm, and then there's ComfyUI tutorials. But I came from a non-technical background, so it's a little bit hard for me to set it up. I remember the Automatic 1111 was hard because I'm also a Mac user, so I didn't actually commit to it until later last year. I bought a 4090 PC, and now learning more about Comfy interface. But just shout out for the Comfy team. The one-click installment is, a game changer.
No, that's amazing work, Kevin. Like it's more easy every day to install it. So thank you for that, because I think it helped a lot of users for sure. You wanted to say?
Yeah, I just want to say something funny. 2 weeks ago, I was cleaning up my computer, and I, by mistake, did a shift delete on my automatic 11.11 folder, and I don't care.
I think we all start with automatic 11, and like when we saw that control net or animate diff, it was not possible to do, I remember. And like, yeah, we all switched to ComfyUI very quickly, I feel, after that.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, I loved automatic 11.11, but I didn't miss. I was like, oh, it's gone. Oh,
It was pretty buggy. Huh? I was like, yeah, it was like.
I loved it for deforum though. Yeah,
For deforum, it's still like very interesting. And I can ask you maybe like, when did you discover ComfyUI, even if you work with the team?
Yeah, for me, used it at the beginning of last year, and I think maybe different from you guys, I was trying to deploy it as a production service, which was also very hard back then.
For sure.
Yeah, that's kind of how I started working on it.
Super interesting. You want to say something, Shirley, about this?
Sure, yeah. Like I started using ComfyUI when I was still maintaining the ControlNet automatic extension, and people are starting requesting the ComfyUI side feature implemented by Matteo, which was like the IP adapter Face ID. And I actually, that's my first time using it and trying to port it to automatic reverse. Yeah.
We are all the same. So I ask this question to everyone, but we all use in the same way at the beginning. I can continue maybe something about where we are now. So we are in San Francisco. And it's a place when I speak to people, and maybe you live here, and when you speak to people about ComfyUI, even if it's very like a territory of like LLM and AI, people don't know so much still. It's still unknown, and for me, it's really the best tool to create content, because you have a lot of control, as was saying Paul before. So I just want to know, like, what do you think, and how we can raise awareness about the potential of ComfyUI? Why people still in San Francisco, that is an AI city, they don't know this tool enough? Why do you think that? I know it's a bit, yeah.
So I was thinking about this, and I think for LLM, you know, like I'm talking because of my day job, right? When you use an LLM, you can be more efficient. You just and say, oh, I'm trying to do this in Excel, and it's soulless. No one really cares because it's I want to go from point A to point B. While when you use a tool like Comfy to make like AI art, it feels like you're stealing from, you know, like you're making soulful work, and as a result, it's like, how can you use such a soulless tool? But that's not true. It's a tool, and it's enabling, like, I mean, look what Paul just did. It's incredible, and it's mixing perfectly, like, you know, with what someone made with 3D, with artists before, after, and so that you just proved the point that is just not, it's soulful. It's not soulless. So I think it's just a misunderstanding.
Yeah, I'm pretty agree with you. And also, like, at the beginning, it was maybe a bit complex to use. So a lot of visual artists are not really coding or like stuff like that. So it's a bit hard. But now it's getting easier, I feel, for everyone to install it, as you were saying. So yeah, I think it's easier. Someone want to say something?
Yeah, I think it's because the environment, Bay Area's 90-80% of people here are coders. And obviously coder knows LLMs because it helps them to code. But that's sort of their experience and domain expertise. So you gravitate to using the tools that you're mostly familiar with. But then with visual Comfy, those things are more geared towards for creative people. It's just not that kind of crowd. So that's my observations.
No, so interesting about that. And Paul, yeah?
Yeah, I mean, sorry, the question relates to ComfyUI in San Francisco? Or,
yeah, exactly, because when I speak to people, you know, here, I'm like still surprised that people...
It's not as adopted here, is that...
Yeah, exactly. I'm always surprised by it because, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, unfortunately, the Bay Area used to be you know, I mean, this is where Lucasfilm and ILM started. It used to be a huge visual effects hub. Pixar is still here. I mean, Lucasfilm's still here too, but it's moved sort of south. And now it's like it's kind of been taken over by tech companies. And so there's maybe it's because the shift of where visual commercial work is kind of moved outside of San Francisco. It's not as known. Max MSP also started in San Francisco, node-based program. I don't know if that resonates with anyone. But I think what's exciting about it, and hopefully there are other applications actually that go beyond just kind of animation. I think Comfy has the opportunity to apply to a lot of things. I think Max MSP is actually an interesting use case. If you guys are listening, like look up Max MSP and all the kinds of things it can control. From physical, like, you can hook it up to servo motors, Max MSP. It could control the lights on a music show or something like that. So I think there's a lot of unexplored potential with Comfy that's exciting. But what's cool about it, and I hope it kind of remains this way, is the open source nature of it, the community nature of it, and the fact that people can, you guys got 10,000 nodes in the last year is pretty insane. And so I think that's what's going to like kind of keep it going, what's going to raise awareness. You're going to find use cases you couldn't even dream of before. And I think that's why like Blender has kind of taken over in the 3D world, because of that sort of open source nature.
Yeah, so super interesting. Yeah.
I'll add something as well. I think SF is a very Apple MacBook town, and today to use Comfy, well, at least you need two things. You need to be able to actually get it up and running, and you probably need an NVIDIA GPU. So LLMs actually work pretty well on Mac, but diffusion models don't work as well. So yeah, this year we're doing a lot of things to make it easier to get Comfy up and running, whether you want to use it on the server or locally. Yeah, and hopefully that will help.
Yeah, no, I'm totally agree. And even to show to people, maybe, like when I do hackathon here or stuff, when I show to developers like ComfyUI, they're like, oh, most of the people, they don't like, and when they see it, they see the potential. So I think it's like very interesting to show the possibility. I want to continue a bit on another subject, because we, as you were saying, like there is so many new models coming every day. And now there is a big, like, huge, like, new models that are coming for video that are open source or not, both. And I think it could be interesting to have your opinion about that, and like, what for you is the best for what use case? I know like each model video can be used for a different use case, but I would like your opinion about the last updates that we have on Google VO2, that we have on Union, on the open source side. What do you think about it? How you use it? For example, yeah, if you want to start.
Yeah, personally, I mainly use Kling, and I think Kling is extremely powerful. I also use Hailuo and Runway, but these tools are, I think they're just convenient, because you can be, I'm going to say on the bathroom, I guess, whatever, and you can just type things and try things, and it's very, very easy to test. But I know I'm bound to Comfy because I always upscale in Comfy. I'm not gonna lie.
And Animate Diff, right? You're still using Animate Diff.
Yeah.
I'm so impressed that people use Animate Diff still, and it's still maybe the best model to control a generation. And it's kind of old. Old is not old, but like 1 year ago, it's kind of old. We all wait for a new version because like we don't.
I know. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Like for us, maybe soon. I don't know.
We hope that. Yeah. Because now, for example, Union, you have some control, but it's so hard to get control as good as with Animate Diff. So yeah, no, yeah.
And I find myself whenever I lean towards the artistic output, I'm going to go to diff and like diffusion models like that in Comfy. And whenever I want to do something that's more like illustrative, then I'm going to use Kling or Hailuo or Runway. So it just depends. And sometimes I make music too. And then when I want to make a music video, I'm going to make my song, and then I'm going to use Runway, for example, for something just more control and less crazy. It just depends on what I want to do. But I have different ways to achieve different results using different tools, and I kind of love it, honestly.
Yeah, I understand that for control it's a bit more hard, just when it's prompt. And yeah, Claire, do you have like about the last model? Did you see like Google VO2 or like there is something that catch your attention more?
I feel like the competitions are cutting very close. It's more of like they all kind of in the same level. It's just one model release a little bit ahead, and then the other model catching on. Then we have Sora, VO2, Runway, Kling, Minimax, Pika. Pika, for a while, it was kind of a little behind. Everybody was worried, but now they released the 2.0. It seems like they're okay. So my observation is everything is sort of getting, the competition are like very close with each other on the closed side through model. But open source, the models are, I feel like not as great the output, but I've seen some good ones recently, just recently. But then I do think if you have a Comfy setup with all your workflows, and you are essentially reducing the frictions of going 20 different tools, and you can just create a workflow from generating the image to manipulating it to the style, or like style transfer, and the generating a video all in one workflow. And then once you have that workflow works out, then it's automation. You just run that thing. So I think that's sort of a differentiator between those two sides.
Oh, very interesting, yeah. And yeah, Paul, maybe about that, like about this model, because I see your work that you're doing, and like I think it's important also to say when you see this kind of work you're doing, there is so much editing and like also correction, and like even if AI help a lot, how do you see about the model? How do you see it? Do you think the future is only prompting to have a video, or do you imagine that we get more control and?
Yeah. No, I do think it's about control, and that's why I really believe in the open source world. I think all the kind of black box models that we all know are just kind of trading like tit for tat every week of like, oh, it's Kling is the leader this week, and then it's Runway this week, and it's just like that's boring because that's just going to be that's just like kind of for show for investors. I feel like that the real innovation actually happens behind the scenes on Discord, and so I was just very impressed by the Hunyan stuff, and I really think I'm very excited for video LoRa's, which are not even on the radar for any of these companies. Just from talking to them, video LoRa's like don't even occur to them, and they don't understand what the needs are, especially coming from live action. Again, the ability to train on my own footage and not someone else's footage, and say, oh, we forgot to get this insert shot of someone drinking the coffee cup, and now we have a continuity error in our thing. I want to be able to train a video LoRa on that specific scene, on the however many hours or clips, and then I could generate new shots with an open source model. Moon Valley, which I mentioned, which is part of Asteria, we're actually working on a clean sourced model, with no scraped data in it, that is supposed to be designed so that video LoRa's and custom models could be trained on top of it. Hopefully that works with Comfy. I mean, we should talk about that, and hopefully there's ways. I heard it was mentioned by Comfy Anonymous that training might get better inside of Comfy, and so I'm really excited about that because again, we want control, we want to work with our own materials, we want character consistency and location consistency, world building, and I think that can only really be done with these tools.
Yeah, I'm totally agree with that. Like even Union, like there's a new training, as you were saying, video training.
That Keanu clip was
exactly.
The
Everybody.
Clip,
with the severance with like was amazing.
It was trained on, I mean, stolen, but all stolen IP. But more conceptually, what was interesting was that they trained on these 5-second clips from John Wick, and it's better than a deep fake, I thought, because did everyone see that clip of the severance clip? That was done in Hunyan, I believe, with John Wick video LoRa, and it changed not just the face but the hair too.
Yeah, the back, even the back when he was running.
The John Wick kind of like fluff in the back, and I was like, oh, this is like that's the future. That's like going to be the future for visual effects. So I don't know, video LoRa's I'm really excited about.
That's super interesting. And even like maybe Cog Video, for some people that know, I saw something very interesting recently where they were just adding some, like for example, water effect or stuff, like just some tiny effect on top of video. And I was finding super interesting that all these VFX that can be super heavy, they were just adding this tiny touch with some model. And I say Cog Video because it's not a very good model, to be honest, I think. But it has so much control. So, and when we have a good control, as usual, like even animate div that is 1 year old, or like you can do amazing stuff. So yeah, I'm happy about this. Do you want to jump like ComfyUI team on that, or like what do you think about model video? I'm sure it's a big subject for you because it's like always hard to implement maybe like these new models, or like how it is for you. Like I don't know if you No, it's okay.
Okay. It's just fun, you know. It's
okay. I wanted also like because we all speak about this this ComfyUI and this AI, but I want to know also like what inspire you in real life. I know it's a bit a different question, but what's like? Do you have like something to share, a book, an exhibition, or anything that really impacts your creation? Like, do you have something to share to the people?
Yeah, it's a pretty broad subject. So I'll say a couple of things. Paul is here, so I'm going to say something about Paul. Yeah, like I said, I was. Yeah, no, it's nothing special. But I was at his viewing like a couple months ago, and I saw a bunch of your work, right? And I went home and
3 years.
3 years, yeah.
Chronological order. It was like in December we showed like kind of the beginnings of AI animation. Well, not. I mean, I started doing AI animation back in 2016 with Google's Deep Dreaming, but really showing from DALL-E 2 and being able to do stop motion in DALL-E 2 up until December 2024. So 3 years of work in chronological order.
Yeah, and so I went home, and on the following couple of days, I had leftovers of. I tried Sora for 1 month. It was a little too rich for my blood, so I tried for 1 month, and I was inspired by Paul, and I made like a pretty cool piece, I think.
Very cool. I loved it.
Yeah, and I was like, so that was Paul's work that inspired me to push myself to do like a full like infinite zoom kind of like shot, and then we're in the machine learners. Shout out to Phil and Bing's right server, and
Yes.
and I see the work of like some of the greatest creators, right? And I see Enigmatic, I see, Jero is here. I see his stuff. It's
Yeah, so many big.
yeah, and then it's just being surrounded by the people like this. And another example, as I know, like years ago, I was invited by Scott Human, their forum creator, to the first Deforum Dream Forum in Venice Beach, and same thing. I got there and I saw one of actually Jero's piece that was like a flickery, static image that you with Deforum where there's not much movement, and I was like, man, this is amazing. Talked to him, got inspiration, and I just fuel myself on seeing what others create, and it's just so inspiring, being surrounded by so much talent.
No, that's so interesting what you say, and I think it's for everyone. Even we are talking about Banadoko or like Discord like that. If you want to follow a bit what people doing, Banadoko and also Comfy organization Discord are really like very interesting to see the possibility, because even tonight we just saw some possibility of ComfyUI, but I think it can go so much further. Claire, do you have like some insight about like what inspire you? What do you think? I know you work at CivitAI as well. Is that do you see like people post like things like every time there? What does it inspire you to see the work of other people as well?
So I currently work for like the competition itself owns by
Okay,
CivitAI, so
okay.
the Project Odyssey. So I've
don't
been
have to-
viewing so many films today, and
That's
I
true.
can we're on season 2 now, and just compare the season 2's films to season 1, which is less than 6 months ago. It was jaw-dropping. It was very competitive, and it's just getting so much better. And we've seen, people from the globe. We've seen people from Asia, Europe, and US. And there's a lot of them are beginners, but there are also some pros. So it really has like a effect of bringing everybody together from all walks of life, all levels, and that is really cool. It's definitely very, very inspiring. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you for that. And yeah, now maybe something a bit more technical, and we have the ComfyUI team also maybe that can say to us. I think what makes ComfyUI so good is also the custom node that so many like developer made, and like it's crazy that when I met a lot of last year, and when I met all these people that do that, like not even for any purpose, just because they want to do also something cool most of the time. And I want just to say, like for example, Kijai node that he do like Kijai is amazing.
Legend.
Whenever there is a new tool available, Kijai is making a node for it. So I think it is to say, and I also see ComfyUI 3D pack. I know it's the more hardest node to install, probably 3D pack, but you have so much possibility, so you can use all the open source tool to generate 3D with this pack. So, and do you have maybe some nodes that you use every day that people should like? Because some nodes are not so famous, Like, what do you have in mind, maybe?
Like I was mentioning, it's hard to. I think about this like. I was thinking about this, and I know, like I mentioned during the presentation, I use fill nodes a lot. These are really good. Yeah, the
That's
purple
true.
nodes.
That's
yeah.
true.
Machine illusions. I wanted to say like the perfect example is, I know again is a friend, so I have to talk about him. But Jeru right now is working on a custom a node package, and that is why Comfy is so special, because it's not diff. It's just literally like Python nodes, and ask him to show you what it does, and that's really cool because you can take that and put it with diff and then go back in there and you can make crazy things. And I love that, like the
diversity finally,
exactly.
the diversity of the nodes that we have available.
It's like a sandbox where you can just plug in things and you just get crazy stuff out of it. And big fan. Yeah,
totally.
And even I because like I said, I've been making music and I was making audio reactive. An audio reactive node from my mask, right? Which I know it's Purse kind of like told me that this is not the way, so I just kind of gave up. But whatever, I had some fun for what it lasted, where I put the BPM with my mask, and then I get like a pulsating, mask out of it, and I can take this and put it with my song, and then I can get like what I was showing you with like more emotion because music is just making it brave, and just myself doing this, it's very, very fun.
No, I think it's very interesting that you say that. Even I see some people developing their own node when they need. Even when they are not developer, you make a system so easy also to implement. I remember my first node I did one time. It was just to send me an email when the job was done, because at the time it was so long sometimes, So I was like, okay, send me an email when it's done. It was I never published it, but I should because I didn't check security. I don't know, I'm not a good developer. But do you see I know you work also on a lot of node on your side, and thank you for that because you always update it a lot. How do you see all this? What is bringing you to see all these people working also on this custom node? Do you think I imagine it's important for ComfyUI? You will not say no to that, but how do you see it?
For sure, custom nodes are the lifeblood of the Comfy ecosystem, and I think it's not even the nodes that everybody knows about, it's the nodes that nobody publishes, because Comfy is the place where if you're trying to build something and you get stuck, you can kind of just write your own node to do it, or you can patch the code yourself. Whereas, I used to work at Google on these cloud products, and if you get stuck, you kind of just have to file a ticket and wait for them to implement it. Yeah. So talking to a lot of people who use Comfy, I think it's the nodes that you don't publish that also are really important.
Super interesting. Was that? Yeah, maybe I will continue also because now because we have other tools to do AI for sure, but why for you ComfyUI is so particular compared to other tools? What has something more than other tools? Why you use it and why we talk about it today?
I think for me, when I think about ComfyUI, I compare it to my experience that I had with Automatic 1111, right? To get from point A to point B. And I felt kind of stuck with Automatic 1111 where I didn't really, I only had one way out, right? And with Comfy, at first, before I adopted it, I was worried I was going to get lost in it. And actually, the fact that you can get lost in it is why it's so amazing, because you can, I really was confused at first. I was like, why would I go to Comfy when I can do what I need with Automatic 1111? But I didn't do what I needed with Automatic 1111. I was doing what I could. I only have one option. And here, you saw the workflow that I was presenting. It's kind of crazy, and you could plug things differently and get something totally different, and that's what I think is amazing about Comfy is the complexity. The complexity
is beautiful as well.
It's beautiful, exactly. Yeah. And it doesn't need to be complex,
No, for sure. That's why I want to say to people also that never try ComfyUI. You have so many resources also to learn, and it's very easy to start.
First,
the learning curve is a bit difficult, but to start is very easy. And when you generate your first image with your own GPU, it makes you feel good.
Yeah.
It's like a very nice. It's not a services that you pay, it's your own, that you manage. So it's very nice. So yeah.
Agreed.
Do you want to add something maybe about this?
I have one thing to add. Shout out to Phil, my dear friends as well, who's also my teacher on Comfy. He's currently in Japan. He once told me on the panel, he did his tax on Comfy. So that just says something that you can do anything. If he did his tax, then you can probably do a bunch of other stuff.
His tax is what you say? He did his tax on you?
I'm not even surprised.
No, I see some people creating Tetris or Pong. So inside ComfyUI, so the times that you're waiting for a render, you can play Pong or that's crazy.
I'm sure it's probably,
I think it's, Yeah, Paul?
Yeah, I guess what originally, I looked at ComfyUI and I was like, oh, this is actually already speaking the visual effects knowledge, language. because it's essentially what Nuke and Resolve
Totally, yeah.
use is
Nodal system.
nodal-based masking, isolating this object from that, the foreground from the background, or whatever it is. This is how visual effects, like high-end visual effects, work. And so I saw ComfyUI, and I was like, oh, okay, this is like, this is, to me, is the future of AI, is this ability to control every single aspect and really refine and kind of to infinite ends, details and specificity. And so that to me was what, I don't know, excited me about it, was the fact that that this could be a way to bridge the divide from maybe like traditional VFX artists, sort of old school visual effects artists, and help them understand, oh, okay, actually, AI is not necessarily just some like, toy,
Yeah.
No offense to Runway, but to me, it's still kind of a toy. And to me, what's up? Are they here? Whoops. But yeah, it's like which is great for some people, but for the professional industry, I think this is like the way to kind of help calm some fears that like, oh no, it still takes some craft, it still takes some technical know-how to use AI.
No, totally. It's, yeah.
Can I add one more thing?
sure.
I think what magic about Comfy is you don't have to wait on the closed sourced people to develop the feature. If there's a model, extension, whatever comes out, and you can just like plug and play. And that freedom, and you just feel you're empowered by it. So that's something I think is really unique for Comfy.
No, I'm totally agree, and you can create your own workflows that make it you feel, yeah, that's very, and also I want to speak about something else because I want your point of view, because tonight I think we saw a lot of projects that are very artistic also, but to be honest, the first time I saw ComfyUI, I was seeing it like a AI automation tool also, that can be for product, for generation of like, how do you see that? I know now it's still hard maybe to control totally the output, but for example, me when I work on workflow, I'm more interested that I have workflows that work every time almost than just one render that look good. But I know people work differently. Some people are more artistic, some people are more technical. How do you see that also? Maybe that it's like automation of AI also, ComfyUI finally. Do you know what I mean about this?
Yeah, I usually try to make it work so that I don't like to spend a lot of time on the workload I'm going to use only one time personally. So I tend to try to make something that can be either reused in a way where I can, because I don't know if you see, I like to use groups, and then I like to, I see my Comfy as a modular approach because I have like synths at home, so I like plugging cables. Maybe that's why I like Comfy too. Yeah, I didn't think about this. Yeah, yeah. And so yeah, the modular approach is my way of thinking. So I see like these sections as modules, right? That I can copy, paste, and reuse in a different workflow, so
exactly.
It's never lost,
And it's nice to copy from workflow to workflow, like when you have some things that work good, yeah.
And groups have been big time improved, by the way. You can have a group in a group and move the whole group, and
yeah, even to save workflow easy, and we can thank you for the team of ComfyUI for that.
We may need subgraph, but that's a different story.
And yeah, I wanted to ask a question also, because now we did like a lot of artistic questions, but maybe about the development also of ComfyUI. I heard about the RFC repo that you made available. Can you give us a bit of explanation about that, the RFC repo?
So the RFC stands for like request for comment. It's a developer side of thing that's used to communicate with the community, or like especially our custom node developers. Whenever we are making some breaking change or something that's pretty big, will impact the community, we will first like send the signal and then act. Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. So they let people, for example, custom node, or like to have time also to prepare and like to adapt to your updates. Sure. That's amazing. Okay, that's very cool. And do you want to add something about like
I'll just add something about RFCs. So it's also a place for us to discuss large upcoming features. For example, right now we're discussing the subgraph feature that a lot of people have been asking for. Yes. So we want to do it in the open. We want to know your thoughts and make sure it all works for everybody's use case. So yeah, it's a platform for that. And also, if you want something that we haven't thought about, something big that is not just appropriate for a PR or like a Discord message, yeah, make a proposal there and we all discuss it as a team. We want the development of Comfy to be open, for the future.
Amazing to hear that. And I will finish with the last question, maybe for everyone that is here. If you have if people want to start to learn, or like, what you will recommend, yeah.
You know what I'm gonna say. I mean,
Pearls?
Pearls, yeah.
You like pearls?
Yeah. It's
No,
not that like
yeah.
Pearls. He's very therapeutic, and I know you can find there are a lot of people. I mean, I say Pearls because I'm friends with him.
Yeah, there is so
But
many people.
you just go on YouTube and you type Comfy and.
I always say that to people.
Yeah.
So many people do amazing video. You can find so many
Yeah.
resources to learn.
But even if you.
Yeah. What you
Yeah.
say?
Olivio, exactly.
Yeah, exactly, exactly, Olivio. Yeah, for sure. It's a very good
Yeah,
creator.
there are just so many people that can help, and if you join a Discord servers, you can ask questions. People ask, and people get answers, and even like think about it, like on Banadoko, for example, like people share their workflows.
Yeah, totally. You can just test it.
And when I share my workflow, what I love is not having no reaction. I love people asking, "Oh, what is that for? What did you do? How does it work?" And that's the goal, is to have people use it, learn it, and make it better. I also don't like when people take the workflow, use it, and that's it. I want people to tell me it doesn't work and push it and just say, can you change this? Or I tried that, I implemented this, and I think that's what makes it cool, is just to grow together.
Yeah, I'm totally.
Don't be by yourself. That's the open
Yeah,
community.
and it's what is magical. A lot of people share their workflow, and so you can also test it and just like try to run it, and like after you can understand it also, like just to run with a workflow. And Paul, maybe about this, like what you would recommend for people maybe to learn a bit more about ComfyUI, or like to start with maybe.
Yeah, I mean, those were good places. Banadoko.
Yes.
There's a workflow thread or whatever. But I think I first start like ComfyWorkflow.com or something like that.
Yeah,
You know what I'm talking about?
Yes, I think, and now I like OpenArt also. OpenArt is very good
yeah.
for workflow, but there was this, Comfy Workflow, but like, yeah.
Or yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
But anyways, it's just a bunch of threads that are like, this is how you do this one, and it's very because the Discord Banadoko is a little messy. This is just like has like a bunch of little thumbnails of like, oh, I want to do that with Comfy, and you can just click it, and then sometimes it's just a PNG, and then you just drag the PNG into your browser, and it explodes. So it is like it's overwhelming, but also like somewhat easy to get into because of everyone's so like kind of open source about sharing knowledge.
Yeah, and I was going to say too, think about the fact that we all started without Comfy, and you know, you can learn. It's totally doable, right? I mean,
No, totally. I think everybody, like, it's just maybe a bit scary when you see all your nodes that you show, like, you know, when you see a workflow like that. But when after you are in, like, it's, yeah.
I was going to say too, last thing I was going to say is I think when you, at first it's going to suck, right? It's going to be confusing, miserable, but it's okay. Just embrace the suck, right? And just struggle, try. At first you don't need to understand, you just need to use it. Get it to work. Once you get it to work, run it, and you're like, oh, I understand that now. Yeah. And then eventually the best thing to do is to Control-A, delete, redo it from scratch. You open like another screen and you just add the nodes yourself, and you just connect the nodes. And well, you know, trust me, I've connected the negative to the positive and the positive to negative, and it took me hours. I was like, what's going on here? And it's what makes me like, oh, okay, I understand. And you just have to trial by fire, basically. Just redo the things yourself.
Exactly. I think we are good. So yeah, it was so nice to have you all, like to speak about everything. Thank you so much, and thank you for listening. Thank you so much. Let the milk to Charlene.
Thank you. Thanks so much, Lovis. So next up, we're going to have the demos. So we are going to enforce a 5-minute limit, maybe 6. And then if you end up running over, if we have extra time after, we'll let you guys come back up and like continue the demo. So we have a list of people. I think we're going to start off with Curie. Okay. Great. And then if anybody wants to volunteer to do a demo after, if we have extra time, you can also come up. And we basically have programming packed today until 8. But after 8, you should go to our happy hour spot, which is literally just down the road, maybe less than a block. And it's at Jack's Vineyards. So please join us there. And there's no programming there, so you can just chill and drink wine or non-alcoholic beverages and hang out. All right.
Test. So hi, this is Andrew Harp, and I am Michael Augustin, so we're the founders of Curie. Yeah, if anyone wants to grab drinks with us at happy hour afterwards, we're hiring. So this project was, I guess, inspired by companies like OpenAI, where it's able to ingest information online and to create 3D assets, particularly product content. We all talk about replacing the phone in 5 years. Right now, those replacements are mostly gaming devices. If they want to 14x the market, they're going to have to get serious about e-commerce, which is why we're doing this. Little known facts. Andrew, I think you worked on Everyday Robots with Robin, or the same project?
At Google X.
Yeah. And then also, Andrew's oh yeah, we feel very honored to talk to the next generation of no code, because Andrew was an author on TensorFlow, I think where Ilya was a main contributor, and I co-founded GameSolid, which was one of the first no code for mobile devices. I think we launched over 10 million apps by the time we vested.
All right. Yeah. Thanks, Michael. All right. Yeah, so Michael already gave you guys an overview. We're doing 2D to 3D reconstruction for digital twins, basically creating 3D models for virtual try-ons and stuff. And early on in this project, I decided I wanted to try to find some sort of workflow management tool, and I stumbled across ComfyUI. I started making nodes for it. Yeah, so over time, we built up about 200 nodes. And it kind of became apparent that I was spending a lot of time on the overhead of creating the nodes. You can see the example node for ComfyUI here on the right. There's a lot of arrays you have to keep in sync with your function down here. And so like any good programmer, I decided to spend a lot of time working hard so I could be lazy. And then, so I created easy nodes for ComfyUI. It's basically just a decorator here. You put over your function, and as long as you annotate things, it will create the node definition internally and just auto-register it with ComfyUI. You can actually make changes to the source of the node while ComfyUI is running, and it will reload it. This function just basically gives you a mask here. I've added some convenience functions so you don't have to do JavaScript when you're, say, displaying text or images here. I've just added a line to output text to the node. Normally that would require JavaScript and also an image here. I added some ChatGPT powered debugging so you can so it can actually look at what exceptions your nodes are throwing. It's kind of experimental. Yeah, so.
I think 90% of the nodes that are in the ComfyUI project you wrote, like they're custom?
In our project.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so I just add that, and then so basically, oh, what was I doing? Oh, right, I was showing something else. Yeah, and you can also view the log for the node right there in the browser. Let's see, what else? Yeah, so the other topic, I don't know if I have time for it, but is hyperparameter optimization. So Easy Nodes is open source. This part is still not open source yet, but I kind of hope to. So basically, we have this mesh optimization node. The specifics aren't important, but we have losses over here. And so that's a lot of tweaking by hand. So I decided to make this metric node. And basically, I have a tool that hooks up to it. And it looks for the metric nodes in your, it's doing some weird, huh. Yep. So it's basically, it's running this graph, this workflow right here, over and over again. And so the node itself, it's basically trying to find these values. It's just a mystery function. And somehow I've turned on a voice to text. But you can see it's giving the metrics here. And yep. So completed. And now if I reload, yeah, it basically found the values. Right. Yeah, that's about all I have. I guess we're looking for people doing 3D reconstruction.
Thank you.
That was right on time. If you guys have questions, we're going to save it for the Vineyard, which is just down the street once again. Next up, Tesla Not, and then, oh yeah, and then if Bento ML, who's going to be after that, could get ready, that'd be great. Thank you.
So I don't have a presentation or anything. I thought we were just going to watch it. Like, so I was going to submit a video.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I have a laptop with me.
Oh, I have a laptop. Okay, Bento ML, are you guys ready? Oh. Oh, you want to use it? Okay, actually, let's do this one first then. Just kidding.
Oh, no, you can talk while I like set this up.
Oh,
I thought I
don't
was just
have
going to play video.
All right, please don't hack me.
I'm not that smart.
That's what they all say.
Oh, do I just play the video, I guess? I don't want to like go to your desktop or anything.
Which one?
Long? It's Halloween. Is that sound? Stop. So I don't really have a presentation or anything. I didn't know if we were supposed to present, but that stuff was all done with like Comfy, Do from Banadoko, using like this early stuff was like Hunyuan. But yeah, I'm glad. I hope you guys liked it. How much time do I have left, or I give it to the next person? Oh wow. This one's not as like creepy looking. I know the other one was a little weird, but this one's all made with dough. It took me like 12 hours to render on a 3090. Oh no, 3080. Sorry.
No, we're at time, but thank you. Thanks for sharing. Actually, next is... Yes, okay, so this is the order, actually. Bento ML, and then next up, if Comfy Stream could get ready. Yeah, you can just take this off.
Do I speak into a microphone or? Okay. Is it on? Yeah, great. So, hey everyone, my name is Sean. I'm from a company called Bento ML. And I'm here today to talk to you how to make ComfyUI workflows shareable. And why this is a problem. So let's say you make your perfect workflow and you're quite happy about it, and you share your workflow JSON with someone else, and they took your workflow JSON and tried to open it in their Comfy environment, and these are some of the common problems they'll probably run into. Custom node not found, and this is often due to not knowing where to get custom node, which repo, which revision. Revision matters because, as you probably all know, that custom node needs to have some compatibility with each other, and these repos get evolved pretty rapidly, so you need to stay on a specific revision. And they may not be able to find the correct model weights, which model to use, which version of the model to use, and it's quite complex to figure out just by themselves. And lastly, we get the good old Python dependency issues. What packages should they be installing, and what version of those packages? We get into this weird compatibility. You probably run into Python dependency conflicts and not able to fully reproduce or not able to run the Comfy workflow that you shared at all. So we're Bento ML. We're a unified inference platform that runs any model on any cloud. And why do we suddenly got into this? Is because we recently spent a lot of time investigating how to serve ComfyUI workflows. ComfyUI in the overall Gen AI is a very important ecosystem to support, and being able to deploy and scale them effectively is one of our main goals. As we get to the bottom of this, the main reason is because all of these components in the ComfyUI are versioned. And we need to really respect those versions to be able to reliably replicate a workflow that you have. That means the ComfyUI version, Python packages, custom node, and models, all of those needs to stay in certain type of compatibility. So we built ComfyPack. This is a utility that helps you be able to package all of the dependencies versions into an artifact, and you'll be able to use that artifact to reliably reproduce the environment in another ComfyUI server. So what happened under the scenes is that once you click packing on the ComfyUI web UI, I'll show later, we will be able to lock the Python dependency versions, lock the custom node revisions, and also where you get it from, like the repo addresses, model hashes, and all the static assets you need to run this workflow. And as you unpack from another server, this utility downloads the custom nodes from the corresponding GitHub repos with the specific revisions, and it installs the logged Python dependency versions so that you have the correct virtual environment to run your Comfy. And it gives you the model hashes and suggests you where to download the models. We do a search and give you the exact address to acquire these models. Then you'll be able to reproduce the Comfy workflow in another completely different environment. We open source this. We hope this is helpful to the community. And we are currently in conversation with the Comfy org to see if we can, what we can do to help with the Comfy core, see if we can include this overall into the Comfy core tools. So next I want to show just a little bit of a quick demo. So in here we have a very simple workflow. So already simplified workflow. So it just edits the facial expression of a profile picture. So you make Elon do some funky expressions. So next, I want to share this with my friends or publish this to the internet. All I have to do is click this button on the UI. So first of all, before you do all that, what you do is go to the Comfy Manager, Custom Node Manager, and search for ComfyPack. Since I already have it installed, I have this menu item open on the UI. And when I click Pack, I'll be able to choose what models to save. It detects 6 models this workflow is currently using. Input file, which is the static assets, is what you see on the screen, and some system packages that I may need. By clicking Pack, what happened in the background is that it's logging all those versions that we've seen in the background. And you'll be able to download this specific pack formatted file. You notice it's really small because we didn't actually pack any of the code or any of the model in here. It's just the reference metadata that when we unpack, we'll be able to fetch it from the internet. And once you want to unpack this, I have one that's currently running here. Oh. Sorry, to get to my server. And all I have to run here is Comfy unpack event, Comfy pack unpack. Oops. Okay, and what happens behind the scene is that it's trying to acquire those assets. It creates a virtual environment, install the dependencies, and then gets the custom node in the environment that I can just run. And soon you'll see that it's trying to get the models that I actually need, give me the model hash, and give me the address where I can acquire these models. And for the time being, I won't be downloading the models just now because it will take probably a really long time. Yeah, and I'll just be skipping these. 6 models if you remember, 30 seconds. Yeah, so once you run this command, you'll be able to fully reproduce this environment. Going back, another quick thing I like to show is that you can, if you want to serve this as an API, you can click the serve button and we'll create an API server in the backend. And this is a familiar, what you will see on the screen is a familiar Swagger page, and the developer will look to see the documentation on how to call your API. And you will be able to call this API just from this, this interface. Okay, I think I'm on a time constraint. Very lastly, I think we also help you to deploy to any cloud to help you scale the deployment based on production traffic. That's for another day. We have a webinar event that's coming up on February 12th. Here, I'll leave the QR code up. If you want to sign up, we'll dive into this tool into more details and how to help you deploy this to production. And if you need help on shipping your Comfy workflows as an API to production, please come and talk to us. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, Comfy Stream. And then after that, if Exaflop Labs could get ready.
Hey everybody, I am Eric Tang, and I am the host of the New York City ComfyUI Meetup, and I am also the co-founder of an open source company called LivePeer, where we build open source video streaming infrastructure software, and we've been doing that for the last 9 years. So I'm a big fan of open source AI and ComfyUI, of course, and I am also a big fan of live video. So we built a tool to kind of combine these two things together, and we call it Comfy Stream. So Comfy Stream is kind of a companion to ComfyUI, where you can use Comfy. Yeah. Oh, okay, cool. I was like, questions. and so it's kind of a companion app. So think of it as like a live video workflow management tool for ComfyUI, right? You run alongside of it, and you can use ComfyUI to create your workflows and use it as the inference engine. And Comfy Stream would handle all the live video. So here you kind of have this. Here, I'll just show this quickly. This is me turning myself into a Marvel superhero. Turn it to you guys as well. You kind of see how you're all sitting there, Marvel superheroes. I can quickly, for example, change Let me change the prompts quickly. Uh-oh, what just happened? So you can kind of see this is how this is what the UI looks like, and what I was doing there is just loading my ComfyUI workflow into the tool. So now I can actually come here and I can access all the nodes that I have in the workflow. So for example, I can go to my prompt. I can update my prompt to something else. So let's say a impressionist painting of people in the park. Right. So you see, kind of that turns you guys into a beautiful impressionist painting. So you might ask, like, what do I build with this? Right. It feels like an interesting toy. I think what's interesting here is that live video is kind of a new content format for AI that's just getting started. Just like image generation and video generation, live AI is going to have a profound impact on how live video is used on the internet. So this is kind of a starting point. I'll show you some quick experiments and fun things that we've been building. So Ryan in the room, who you might know as Ryan on the inside, he built this. He built this game, and this game basically allows you. The objective of this game is for you to use a prompt and some objects around you to get the AI to create this image that's in the bottom, right? So let's say, now I'll just make it really easy. I'll call it pizza. So now you see, now there's pizza. But if you want to make it challenging, you can say you can't use the word pizza. You have to find words and coax the AI into creating something, right? So, a silly game, but really what this is showing is now you have this building block of interactivity and time, which is a whole new world, a whole new design space that you can have. Lastly, I actually have a mobile demo, but I'm not going to plug it in. We don't have time. Maybe I'll just do a quick shout out. If you have friends in New York City who's really into ComfyUI, get them to come to the meetup. We're also hiring for a developer advocate for creative AI communities like the ComfyUI community. So if you're interested in that, if you're that person or you know somebody, I'll give you a referral fee. And finally, we've established a open grant fund for about over $1 million. And we're investing that fund into open research around real-time video AI and node developments and workflow development. So I will be running this demo somewhere over there afterwards. And so come and find me, come and find Shilin and Ryan. Thanks.
Okay. Next up, Exaflop Labs. Awesome. And then if Rai could get ready as well, thank you.
Where's the
Here's the, okay, it's actually this.
Let's see. Will that work? Oops.
Yeah.
Sorry.
If you take this out.
Thank you. You guys see? Okay, I guess it's not getting bigger than that. All right. Hey, I'm Hassan. Nice to meet you guys. I'm here with Exaflop. So we made Comfy Autocomplete, and I'll just start off with a video demo of what that is. So this runs on completion, so like on connection. So you'll see. and that's like a prediction, and then I click tab to accept it. So then I'll connect these, and then we get a K-sampler prediction. And so this is like code complete, except for nodes. And so, yeah, we get some decent completions here. We should get a VD code, nice. And then a preview, ideally. I guess we got a bad completion there. Yeah, preview image, and yeah, so that's Comfy autocomplete, just like code complete. And then I guess we'll talk about how we built it. I think this is the wrong one. Okay, yeah, so Comfy autocomplete. So this is, yeah, code autocomplete is what we're doing. And basically this Comfy workflow is directly translatable to this code. I don't know if Comfy actually does this, but technically these are totally equivalent. I'm sure Comfy can tell you what they actually do, but those are totally equivalent things. And basically, there's a lot of great code complete tools out there. There's Cursor, there's, I don't know, Maven, there's like Copilot. We're at GitHub, so Copilot is highly relevant. And so basically, we're like, oh, this is just code complete. We can do node complete. This is like kind of technical. I won't get super deep into this. This is basically what we send to the LLM. These are like tokens that we're sending to the LLM. Not kind of getting in the weeds here. I'll skip through this. But so basically, we trained 2 models. The first model was StarCoder 1B, AK context. The reason why we chose StarCoder is because it performs really well for code autocomplete. Trained it on 300 workflows. That translated to 25 million tokens. And on one A100 for 8 hours, it was around $20. Here's the loss graph. So we got to 0.09 after 2K steps. It kind of asymptotes at like 1.7K. So we're kind of maxing out the brain power of this model. That was kind of enough validation for me to like bump up to the next model. So this is how I validated it. I just sent a request, and I took like half a workflow, and it gave back like empty latent and K-sampler, and I was like, oh, it's good enough. So I did the next run, which is, I chose Quen for this one, 7B, 16K context. I picked this one because it's a really strong code model. It's way stronger than its size would indicate. So trained on 500 workflows, 34 million tokens, 8 H100s, 12 hours. The reason why we had to bump up to 8 H100s is because 16K context is a lot more than 8K. So it was $300. And this is the loss, 0.05, so it's way stronger than the previous one. And this is actually only after 700 steps. We trained it 1/3 the time. The reason is because it's kind of expensive. Yeah. So this is them compared. As you can see, StarCoder is the top one. Quen is over here. Yeah, 1/3 the time, way stronger model. Yeah, so what's next for us is maybe we'll train Comfy Autocomplete V2. If someone wants to sponsor that run, more than happy to train it. We have 3,000 workflows now, 700 million tokens. Right now, we just predict nodes. Next, we want to predict connections, so you can just like tab a full workflow. We think that would be fun. Yeah, so if anybody wants to like sponsor a training run, love to do that. I would do a live demo, but I wasn't able to connect to the GitHub Wi-Fi, so that's not happening. And now I'm going to Shill. I'm with Exaflop Labs. We do a lot of Comfy work. We deploy Comfy workflows to production. We have a bunch in production at mass scale for really large companies. We train models, as you can see. And I'll stop there if you guys have any questions. You can find me. I'll be around. You can find my co-founder, Basil. He's got an Exaflops jacket. You can find him. Talk to us. Love to talk to you guys. I saw a question. Yeah, we think that's actually something we're thinking about. We could totally do that. And there's more than enough data to do that. It'd actually be actually trivially easy. It'd be easier than this, actually. Thank you.
Awesome, thank you. Under time limit. Next up, Rye. And then if Thought could get ready. Oh, okay, it's my computer. Okay. It's here. We just use this. It should work.
All right. I guess I will use this. Hey guys,
My name is Vojta. Most of you probably don't know me, so just real quick history. Long time ago, with 2 other guys, I co-created AngularJS, which is an open source web framework. And then I spent past 9 years at Apple, where I led the engineering team developing privacy-preserving ML technologies like private fairy learning, differential privacy, and stuff like that. I'd say I'm most proud of accomplishment of convincing Apple leadership to actually open source the algorithms and protocol underneath. And then last year, I was just too excited about all of the stuff happening in the open source world and all the AI hype. And so I left to start a company with a good friend of mine called Ray. And the main thing we're excited about and we're prototyping and looking into is like the interface. So like, how does a human tell the AI, all these models, what to do, right? Like if you imagine in future, like the models can generate anything, any movie, any game, but like how do you tell it what you want? How does my 6-year-old daughter tell the model what it should generate? And I think that's really important for getting really this great technology to billions of people, a lot of people. And so I'm just going to show you a couple of prototypes that we built to kind of give you a sense. So this is one iOS prototype called Fashion Filter, where you have a photo, and you can see there's photos of different dresses, and you can control the photo by selecting a dress, and then it will change the dress of people in the photo. Gives you a couple of options. So this is basically interface idea where you tell the model what you want through image. Rather than prompt, use image. Another one is using emojis. So you can take emoji and drag it onto a person in the photo, and it will change their face expression based on the emoji, right? So you're using emoji to kind of prompt in a way. But I think it's kind of fun because images or emojis, like I think they're much richer. They convey more than just, more than text. And last one is, this is kind of silly, but it's an app called Will It Blend. It's actually on App Store, so if you can download it and play with it. It's more for small kids, but maybe you'll like it. Here is the idea that you generate new stuff by combining stuff. So you have this like casino reel, and you can combine things. So like, let's say chicken and shark, Anyways, so I think you get the idea. So like we're like prototyping and exploring different ways how to control the models. And of course, this is a ComfyUI meetup. So let me show you. Actually, I'm kind of curious. How many of you guys created a workflow, or at least took some workflow and edited it yourself? Can you raise your hand if you created your own workflow? Wow, that's pretty good. That's like close to half, I would say. Okay, that's awesome. The ones who haven't, I encourage you to try. I think Comfy is awesome. So all of the prototypes that I showed you, there's a Comfy workflow behind the scene, or behind it. That's how we created, right? So like, for instance, the fashion. This one is kind of big. There's a lot of things. I'm not going to go through it. I don't have time for that. Or here's the Will It Blend. So like, I can do, I don't know. Let's use something else. Let's say, Gorilla. I hope it's still loaded in the GPU memory. Otherwise, it's going to take a long time. It's looking promising. Anyways, before it hopefully shows the results, we have behind the scenes, we have kind of platform to like take these workflows and basically convert it into Python, ship it as a Docker container so it runs behind some API, and then iOS components to like quickly experiment with different interface ideas. So like that's the main point of this, just to go through quickly and test ideas for interfaces and see what feels good. And last thing I wanted to say here, okay, we got some gorillas. It's too small, but last thing I wanted to say that I think, you know, all these workflows were actually created by my friend. His name is Lukáš. He's unfortunately not here. He is in Prague, but I hope to bring him to one of those next meetups. And he's an incredible designer, but he doesn't know how to code. He doesn't know what a matrix multiplication is, but he is able to create these pretty complex workflows. And I just think that's incredible, and it's a great kudos to ComfyUI as a tool and everyone who contributed to the project. Like, big kudos and thank you to you guys. And if you haven't contributed, I encourage you to do so. I think it's a great project. And with that, I'm just gonna end with, here's my contact. If you have cool workflows and you wanna play with simple interface ideas, I would love to see your workflow, reach out. Or if you just wanna talk about interfaces or anything really, all those, you can reach me. And of course, I will be here as well. So thank you for your attention.
All right, and introducing Thought, and then next is AppMana, if they could also get ready. Thank you.
Does anyone know how to full screen something on a Mac? Okay, well, that's fine. Oh, it's not even on this screen. Help? Oh, there we go. Okay, good enough. So I thought this meetup was tomorrow, so I'm rather unprepared. But anyway, I just came to demo some stuff. So I'm originally a hardware engineer by trade. This is some LED control stuff that I worked on. I also designed the lenticular diffusers there. And in a previous life, I was a 3D artist. So this is some product rendering I did for fun. And I've been messing with generative AI since the Stable Diffusion 1.5 dropped. I had that running in Colab the day of. I still have my first generations. I tried to get it to make an oscilloscope, did not work. Yeah, and I have some commits in Comfy and Ubabuga, if you guys know what that is. Yeah, I have a couple projects to show. So first off, so this is some of my very early work with Deforum, which was like back in the ancient days of SD 1.5. But I really love working with trackers, so matching video to sound. This is a music video, but there's no sound here. And then next up, I did this project where I had people take self-portraits, and I would convert them into pixel art, and then print them out on a dot matrix printer. I didn't have the original one for that, but and I demoed that at Open Sauce, which is like a kind of maker convention. And then most recently, what I've been working on is I have a robot that I built, Plotter, which paints. I've been working on basically writing the algorithms that allow me to translate things that are generated by Comfy into brushstroke patterns that make sense with a live medium like watercolor here. And also, I'm using ControlNet preprocessors to generate the outlines. That's pretty much it. I'm also looking for a job right now because I've been consulting for a while, and the war chest is running dry. So hit me up afterwards. Here's the finished thing. So this is all done by machine. And I had my contact information here, but I guess it's not. Cool. Well, find me at the meetup, and thank you. So I think this particular image is not actually AI art because nothing involved in it was machine learning, but I also have images that do use machine learning pipeline. About to see this tomorrow, so I'm not prepared.
All right, and this is AppMana, and then coming up next is, hold on, let me take a look, Neural Image Corporation.
Thanks a lot. So stop me, Yoland, if we've already done this shtick earlier, but how many of you are engineers, software engineers? How many are artists? Wow, so this is a great mix. I'm the CEO of AppMana. My name is Benjamin Berman. We make ads people like. That's it. And ComfyUI was a means to end many different projects. What I want to share with you is ComfyUI as an installable pip package. That's it. Here it is installed on a Mac. Here it is installed in Google Colab. Here it is installed in Windows. If you know what that means for you as a developer, suddenly so many different pain points go away. If ComfyUI just belonged a little bit better to the ecosystem. And we've achieved that by making a pretty full-featured fork that's fully compatible with custom nodes, that's not just installable, but has a lot of stuff that you need that you might rely on custom nodes to do, but when you do, all of a sudden, all this other kind of technology becomes difficult to achieve. And we've dealt with all of that. We're giving it all away. I apologize to the Bento ML folks, but our goal is to just give you a single file and you can have your distributed, full API doing everything as painlessly as possible right there as one file. So you sort of don't have to have any middleman whatsoever. You can just have everything, have the Kubernetes manifest, have the models you need downloaded, everything. We've kind of done that. And some of the nice things might be, just full support for all the transformers, based chat, LLM models, streaming text, stuff like that, image processing, interpreting images, support for OpenAI, Anthropic. Anybody here use Midjourney? What about Leonardo? I don't know if anyone, oh, interesting, okay. What about Recraft? Okay. What about Ideogram? So I'm surprised at how few hands have gone up for Ideogram. If you really want to solve a ton of problems in ComfyUI, we added some Ideogram nodes, but this is sort of the best image model, still image model that exists today. Anybody who's tried it will know that. Simple things that you can achieve in here. This is meant to support stuff that we do. Like I said, we make ads people like, means to an end. When you want to do in-painting, I don't think there's a better in-painting model on Earth right now. You probably go through a lot of pain for doing stuff like IP adaptation or transferring faces or fine-tuning. All of that doesn't matter. It's all totally and utterly obsoleted by Ideogram. One thing I want to illustrate for you is basically a flawless virtual try-on. You can sort of achieve it in one step in Ideogram. If you wanted to make something more sophisticated built around an API, but this is a pretty simple flow. This is just some arithmetic and making an API call. And there isn't really anything wrong with these. It just sort of does it with a naturalistic selfie. And I think, for us, we want to support people doing the nicest and most innovative stuff. This also supports distributed ComfyUI. So as you saw when I was kind of clicking right here, I can just smash Q. This is running against our cluster. You can run this yourself. You do not need to pay a host. You can have painless, flawless, distributed ComfyUI on your own cluster. You can see it's streaming the multiple workers to us in the most idiomatic way possible, not like using some application on top of another UI application. We give you the Docker files, we give you everything. Programmatic API, exactly the way you'd want to use it. So all the stuff that ComfyUI has authored is all available to you in Python naturalistically. And we've also updated and maintained a lot of custom nodes to make them installable because that's sort of what you need to really make this painless. I think for people who are doing this really well, you tend to do that anyway. And we're just trying to give away all this product development. Why did we do all of this stuff? You know, I said ads people like, you know, we make games. We're making an open source game where it's a digital card game where players author the cards. It's called Spell Source. And we need a way for people to make their own art. And that's what we support. We have a lot of different stuff, like, you know, this was longest engagement Instagram ad in 2023. We have a lot of different experiences. I know that you know, we're growing. You've probably seen ads that we've generated with one of our partners, almost certainly if you use Facebook or Instagram. I encourage you to come talk to me later because we're also looking for people who are artists, for video game developers, and who are engineers. We want to do the product development for ComfyUI to support everybody's work. And I encourage, you know, we want to support that through folks who are looking for that work. So thank you so much.
All right, next up, Neural Image Corporation, and then after that will be Vidya Tools LLC. Here? Oh, cool. Awesome. Just plug in there, and then here you go. Okay.
Choose to mirror from the menu.
Toggle here. Like here? Did you try that? Oh, you are mirroring, right?
Choose content. Time screen. Okay, hello everybody. My name is Haran. I'm here to demo my workflow called hairstyle morphing. What this workflow does is to take in the photograph of a person and then create a number of different hairstyles of the same person. And then with these images, I used frame interpolation to create a short video with the illusion of a person's hair growing in or out or changing, which is an unintended effect that I found to be quite engaging. So now I'm going to share how I made this workflow. The first step is to crop into the user's face to reduce background impact. I was building this for a mobile app, so I wanted this workflow to support a diverse number of images. This image is then fed into IP adapter Face ID with attention masking, which is a really powerful feature of ComfyUI. Notice here, the face mask covers the face, but not the forehead or the hair of the person, because I wanted to create the new hairstyle images independently from the user's original hair. Also, some people have hair on their forehead. That's why I left the forehead empty as well. The next step is to connect ControlNet. In this workflow, there are parts that are moving, which are the hair, and there are parts that I don't want to move, which is the face and the body. Otherwise, the output will be distorted, and there will be too many moving parts at the same time. Then I used batch prompt schedule. Over here, I put in some prompts for hairstyles that I found to work well with SD 1.5. The next step was to use InSwapper face swap because of the feedback I got that many people wanted the final result to look like themselves more. This is to increase the likeness. And finally, I used Rife video frame interpolation. And this is the part that I wanted to share with you guys the most. Earlier today, Director Paul said one sentence that really resonated with me. He said, each new technology can be a new art style, which I really found to be the case over here. I used to think of frame interpolation as a technique just to increase your FPS or just to make your video look smoother. But over here, on hindsight, Rife was really designed to connect frames through motion. And it interprets the different hairstyles as if they are changing or growing, as opposed to just static or unrelated images. So this is a great example of the creative potential provided by AI. Oh, I forgot to play this effect one more time, but here it is. The next part is to talk about the design process, I guess. Previously, I did a similar piece using Dream Booth training for the Face ID in Google Colab, and then using automatic 1111 to do the text-to-image generation. And finally, the frame interpolation part using Google Colab again. Since these steps were done on different platforms, it was really hard to automate, and it was quite time-consuming. And it is here that the power of the ComfyUI comes. I was able to link everything together in one place. I can even embed audio for the video just inside the workflow. Another consideration I put in was the comparison with AnimateDiff, which is a very powerful tool, but to render a video, 15-second video like this, AnimateDiff would take more than 2 minutes in my experience, considering all the masks and conditions and control nets on a 4090. But here, Rife only takes less than 40 seconds for the 15-second video, which is a much faster turnaround for the mobile app. So in conclusion, I wanted to demo a workflow I really enjoyed working on, also demonstrating the power of ComfyUI and how technology opens up creative opportunities. If you want to learn more about this workflow, you can search for hairstyle morphling on Civic AI and OpenArt. Also, just to introduce our app, LumiWave, a little bit. It's an app that runs on ComfyUI, served by RunPod servers. I have printed out some handouts about our app. It has AI sticker, AI greetings cards, and stylized images. If you are interested to learn more, feel free to grab a copy from me. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. We are getting pretty close to the end of the event, so I am definitely going to be enforcing the 5-minute limit. And I think there are some volunteers that also want to present afterwards. So in the interest of time, if everyone could just be considerate to the people after them. Next up, Vidya Tools, LLC. And then after that, Glyph.
every pixel will be generated soon, not rendered. The person we know, Jensen Huang. And yeah. This is Vidya. I made this as a sort of thesis when I was in USC Film School. It is a way of rendering new CG videos to make them more photoreal and more authentic. It is a platform that empowers creators to reimagine reality by transforming their videos. I created it while I was at USC, and I was really dissatisfied with how some of my CG products were coming out. So I decided to experiment with what was at the time image-to-image workflows to create a rendering system for videos. Now, the result to that took a year of a lot of R&D to really get this pipeline working. But in the end, we got there. We got a new way to previs where I managed to put in a CG from a game engine and get something a little more photorealistic, a little bit more aesthetic. And that is here. So what you see is the game engine output and my pipeline output. There's no audio?
Go back to your room. If I do, are you ever going to let me out? Yes.
So what you just saw was in 2022, like 2022, pure image to image. The dream that is becoming Vidya is to make this technology more accessible. It is currently really complex, and what I would like to do with Vidya is to make it so that a kid in the middle of nowhere with revolutionary ideas can access it and make those ideas come true. This is what Vidya currently looks like. We have 3 different products. Trace is a stylization method. Evolve transforms your videos in a little bit more creativity. And Forge is the latest product that allows you to essentially use an input video and create an entirely new video around it. So what you just saw is an example of Trace. We use the same method I used for this video on Trace. This next video is what is the result of Evolve. Pay attention to the girl because she was rendered through Evolve.
Taking gets too much. When your head starts slipping away from mine, just know it's only a matter of time.
Uh-oh. Technical issues. Thank you, GitHub. So that's Evolve. And finally, here are some examples of Forge right here. So as you can see, above is the original video, below is the resulting video. It reconstructs the video from its core to make a new video out of it. I'll do my best. Here's an example of a upcoming feature example where you can essentially replace a character in your video with any character you want. And finally, to all the people that join our waitlist today, you will get a 10% discount on all plans when video comes out. You can access the waitlist through this QR code. Thank you very much.
Thanks so much. We will also just gather everyone's contact information and QR codes afterwards, and then share it out on the events. So don't worry about that, or you can just come to the happy hour afterwards. Okay, next up is Glyph. Okay. I'm gonna try to have this extended until 8:15 and do my best here, but we do need everyone out by 8:20 at the latest. So please pack up, and to make sure that we don't anger our GitHub hosts. Here you go.
Hello, everyone. My name is Rishi. I am a technical artist, visual effects artist, and mainly come from the world of 3D graphics. And along with a friend of mine, we started this company to build AI tools for motion graphics artists. So as Paul mentioned earlier, if you're using After Effects or if you're in kind of traditional animation, diffusion tools can be really, really important to your process. And we want to simplify that. And the reason we're here today is we build everything on top of Comfy. So we build custom nodes, we do our fine tuning and kind of connect all those pieces there and then deploy it to After Effects artists. So here's an example where an artist can take a 2D animation and turn it into a 3D claymation. And we've built simple web interfaces for them to work through different shaders and kind of move through that process. Some of the feedback we get from artists is that they want to move really quickly from their base animation without being in 3D software to assets they can actually use. And that involves using alpha channels, making sure they can use transparency, and also make sure that they can actually create the materials really quick. So we've created a process to help them train a model with just one image to apply a style or a shader to the overall look. And we have more examples of 2D animations, but something fun we've been exploring is using different reference images to also texture the scene, and how do you kind of bring compositing into that world. So here I use the sky for the sky, the cotton over here for the shirt, and the water for the water, and kind of bound that all together. And we're really trying to give the most control to video artists and to motion graphics artists so that they can actually turn their 3D designs, 3D renders into stuff that they actually want to use in After Effects. Most of our initial experiments were with kind of these stylization, relighting tools, things that you'd find in Stable Diffusion or Stable Diffusion XL. And we built all of this on animated diff. But what's been really cool is that we've now connected those pieces with the actual video diffusion models. And some of our newer work, where you can take like a 2D animation and a reference image and mix it with real video diffusion models, allows you to actually get much, much better consistency that you can use actually in production. And that's kind of the biggest feedback we've gotten is, how do I take my assets and references and go ahead and create something that's temporally stable, something I can actually use in my pipeline? And so we're launching these features in the next few weeks for all animators and designers. This one's a pixelation effect, which is always fun to kind of play around with. So if you're a motion graphics artist or you're in visual effects and you want to kind of learn more about those tools, connect with me to kind of hear about it. And if you love building tools for animators and you've been building on ComfyUI, come talk to me and I'm happy to share more about what we do. We're looking to hire a creative ML engineer to kind of help us with that process and really take ownership over these pipelines. Thanks.
Unfortunately, I think we've been informed that 8 o'clock is the latest that we can go for the presentation. I think for the remaining folks and anyone who signed up on the spot, please come to the venue and then jam with all of the participants today, and we can get more context on your project over there. One last minute to give a shout out.
I just want to share this amazing event with people here because it may be interesting to you. It's the MIT AI Film Hackathon. For full disclosure, my startup OpenArt is a sponsor, but it's directly from MIT, and they have a lot of amazing awards. I thought it would be interesting to some of you here. Just want to shout out. Thank you.
All right, guys, thank you so much for coming to the very first San Francisco Comfy Meetup. Please join us at the after party. Thank you.